Okay, just wanted to show you. I got this on here now. It's pretty. Look right down the chain. There's a lot of resistance in there, but I think that's just because of the jack shaft. It's fairly straight. It should be straight enough for a mini bike. Took me, a little bit to get this sprocket lined up with that sprocket. And you got to put washers on this side and washers on this side. Got the new bearing in, chain on, got it lined up. These tight, got these tight. Just got to tighten this. Got to put the brake caliper back on. I think that should be enough slack. That's my progress right now. Okay, I just discovered a problem. I got this all lined up, and I wanted to leave it right there because the chains, that's as good as I can get it. It's all straight, it's in line, it's tight. Then I go to put this caliper on, and the bracket, the caliper, and the rotor are like too close together. It's these right here where the where the two bolts go in, certain thickness, and it's got to fit in between. So you got the two pads, they fit over the rotor. So go in. These got to go in behind these holes. So I got the spacing all wrong. I guess there needs to be more washers or something in here to space the wheel that way. So the wheel's got to go more toward the chain side, which will throw off the chain alignment. I had the wheel all on here and tightened down with the chain, but no longer. I had to take it back off, disconnect things, because when I had the brake rotor on, the brake rotor was wobbling just a little bit, and it was catching in the caliper, catching between the pads as it was spinning. So, and I had to figure out a good way to detect how it was not flat, and then a good way to flatten it. This is what I came up with. Use this adjustable wrench, spin it, and then you use this, tighten it up, and you see where it, oh, that's a tight spot right there. It's tight. Taking this and pressure on it, bend it, try to get it back to flat. Spin it, hold it steady. Oh, it's grabbing right there. Alright, so right in here it was grabbing. So maybe tweak it a little bit like that. That seems better. The brake caliper back on there just temporarily. Haven't tightened it. It is a lot better. You can see it going in between the pads right there. Let me hold on. See, it's moving just slightly, but it's not making any noise. That's good. So yeah, I improved it. I did something. Oh, there's some noise. Oh, I see. So I got these washers in here, spacing it, but I don't have the end because I don't have anything over here. I don't have the nut on it. So the spacing's going to be off. So see, it wobbles ever so slightly, but a little bit of wobble won't be a problem if I can get those washers spaced just right. Alright, took off the exhaust pipe here and the shield so I'd have some more room over here because I needed to measure. So here's the front chain, goes back, shaft, which then goes through the swing arm pivot over to here. See that moving in, the chain moving in the background. Okay, so then this little sprocket goes on the chain. The chain will go on that, back to this one. Problem is, you have to have this axle that goes through the rear wheel exactly parallel to that jack shaft going through the swing arm. So I think it might be a little parallel. It might be a little this way, or a little this way, a little forward, backwards. You got to get it exactly parallel, up, down, front, back, and any which way. These slots need to also be parallel so this can sit parallel. And you just line them up in the slots. Will give me the front to back. Right there, put some silver Sharpie on the end of this shaft and a horizontal black mark to measure up from this table, this piece of MDF here, pretty flat. I took these wooden blocks under the frame and shimmed it with some paper towels. Come over here and I made a mark on this piece of tape. Exactly lines up with the mark going through the center of the shaft. So I come over this side, make sure this shaft, so I got a mark on that side too. All right, that lines up too. We got the exact same height off of here. I'm using this as a reference because I don't have a fancy welding table. Using this nice flat surface as a reference, go up from here to the axle so I can measure everything off of this nice flat MDF surface. See how much movement there is here? There's a little more wiggle room over here. Let me figure out some more measurements and we'll get back to it. Okay, I did the same thing on the axle. Used the silver Sharpie on the end and then made a black mark across it. And the same on this side. So this axle also needs to be parallel to this board like I made the jack shaft. So I got this higher mark. You can see it's nice and square. This thing's square. Right there. It's lined up. You come over here and you can see it is clearly not lined up. This end of the axle is a bit lower. Maybe 1/8 of an inch or so lower, which is more than enough to throw off the chain alignment. You can see with the axle lower on the left, trying to line up the chain will be running like this is an exaggeration. Instead of running parallel, it'll be running slightly like that. Throw off the chain. So I need to get it parallel so the sprocket's perfectly perpendicular to the plane I've got here. So I don't know if I'm gonna cut this out and raise it or weld something in here. I don't really want to make a whole new plate. I don't even know if I have this thickness of metal. See, that's where it is. That's like where it needs to be right there. Just got some figuring out to do. I've got to see what metal I have. I've actually ground both of these slots wider. I made the gap in them wider this way. There's a slop on this side too. Maybe need to close them both up and make sure they're parallel. All right, so that's what I'm going to get to. So we'll go see what we have for welding and metal and see if I can fix that somehow. I don't know. Oh, it's motorcycles again. They're so loud.